Ooh, an ad for something I actually like. That's a turnout for the books. Burbaker Unlimited Moat Builders will provide your keep, castle or hovel with a secure defensive system. Choose from their wide range of moat fillers, including lava, piranha schools, sharks, acid, zombies, boiling tar or water. How mundane. Anyway, buy one moat, get a free drawbridge while stocks last. I think I'll get one myself. Maybe it'll stop those horrible kids throwing eggs at my laboratory.
All the tabletop role-playing news, we aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I, as always, am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ. And with me, somewhat unusually today, is
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Role Players. How's ever? Absolutely fabulous to be here, Russ.
Did you spot the lie that I just made?
No, did you lie?
I said it was unusual that you would be here, but in fact, it is quite usual for you to be here recording the podcast.
I went and played Adventurers League on Saturday, and it was awesome. We played the Dark Period of Sorcerer's Isle. Mm-hmm. And there was a pyramid. It was actually silver, so obviously I was miffed about the description. But there's all sorts of wacky stuff going on, and quite frankly, I'd just like to say it was all going perfectly well until the party wizard decided to throw, Snowball Storm at us, which meant that I lost 4 hit points, which wouldn't have been a problem if the enemy then hadn't done enough damage to take me down to 0.
That's unfortunate.
You see, if they hadn't thrown the Snowball Storm at me,
you'd have been fine.
Yeah, I would have been.
Well, not fine. You'd have been on 4 hit points, but...
Well, yeah, but to be fair, if you give me that sort of massive amount of wriggle room of being on 4 hit points, I can do a fair amount of murder. But yeah, just ruined that action economy. True story. Yes. # King Peter. What about you? Do you get up to anything?
Mainly work this week. It's been quite a week.
Oh yes, you're preparing for UK Games Expo.
Well, there's that coming up. So we've been sorting out our stand at UK Games Expo. I just want to say we will be at UK Games Expo, and not only will I have a stand, I'll be on the EN Publishing stand, which will be mainly Judge Dredd decorated.
Yes.
So we've got a 6-foot cardboard Judge Dredd standee, so just look for that.
Yes.
Not only will I be there on the stand selling Judge Dredd books and stuff, but Peter is also at UK Games Expo and will probably be dropping around the stand from time to time, so he'll be there too from time to time.
Yes. I understand Morris may enjoy doing the thing we call eating and drinking. I'm not sure I want to encourage him in these bad habits. One shouldn't become dependent upon such things.
From the sound of it, I'm not sure I'm going to have much chance to eat and drink, to be honest. From what it sounds like, I'm going to be basically working on the stand from 8 in the morning until about 6 in the evening.
Yes.
Pretty solidly.
Yeah.
And then I imagine
getting trolleyed in the far.
Well, I imagine at that point I'll just collapse. I don't know. Well, I've never actually done a stand.
Yes.
It's my first time doing a stand, and it sounds like it's. I know.
The thing to remember is bring a chair. Because I know it's called a stand.
Multiple chairs. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh no, you don't give people chairs to sit on. Otherwise, they'll just stay and talk to you and take up chairs.
Yeah.
No.
So what we have been doing though is also Luna 1 for Judge Dredd is finished.
Ooh.
And I've been proofreading it. I'm ready to send off to Rebellion for approval, at which point Luna 1 will be available, and I think it's really good. Because basically, the fun thing with Luna 1 is, in 2000 AD, the Lunar Colony is kind of just like the Wild West. It's all very sort of frontier-themed, and you get these little lunar frontier towns in little oxydomes and stuff like that, and they're very much like little Wild West towns, and they have sheriffs and all that sort of stuff, and mayors, and...
Yeehaw.
Yeah, so I'm actually quite looking forward to that quite a lot. It's quite a nicely themed thing. So that's done.
Yes.
And it's about 100 odd pages or so, I think, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
So that's done. So that will go to Rebellion this week, and hopefully, well, as soon as they approve it,
yes.
I mean, in theory, it could be on sale within a week or two.
Fantastic.
What I'm really hoping is to have some copies printed to take to UK Games Expo.
Oh, again.
But if I do manage that, there'll only be a very, very small number of copies. Yes. I'm talking like 20 or 30.
Limited print run.
Yeah.
Are you going to sign them?
With what?
A pen.
Oh.
Signing them with other things. Yeah, I know, but it is traditional. There's a reason why.
I will sign things if people think that is a thing that they would want.
Yeah, I mean, who wants a signed copy of a game by its creator? That's so dull.
Well, we've got Darren Pearce will be dropping by the stand to do some signing.
The Darren Pearce?
No, just a Darren Pearce.
Oh,
just,
okay.
Right.
Just a guy called... It's not the same name, it's complete coincidence.
Yeah, so Darren Pearce will be there. Andy Peregrine will be on the stand.
The Andy Peregrine?
So he can... No, just a Andy Peregrine.
A. Peregrine is his name.
So he'll sign copies of Robot Wars and stuff.
Wow, nice.
I'll be there, obviously. Yes. I'm happy to talk to anyone about this podcast, about EN World, about EN Publishing, about Judge Dredd, about any of the stuff I do.
Should we do some news.
Should we do that? All right, then, let's talk about some news. Right then, so item number 1 in the news this week, in the tabletop role-playing game news, the unofficial tabletop role-playing game news.
Yes.
The Big Eyes, Small Mouth, which is an anime role-playing game.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, but it was originally produced back in '97 by the Guardians of Order, and it's been around over the years.
Yes. It's on 4th edition now.
So there is going to be a 4th edition. It's just been announced by Mark McKinnon, who is the original founder of Guardians of Order, which is the company that... so we're going to go back in time a bit, and there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this one.
Was that the Wayback Machine to way back?
Yes.
Back in time?
Yes. My news announcement wasn't very structured here, was it? I started in the middle rather than the end. Well, why would I start at the end? I started in the middle rather than the beginning.
Storytelling instincts coming to the fore. Start in the middle, then go to the beginning, and get to the middle and then to the end.
Right.
That's how it all goes.
So Guardians of Order collapsed a couple of decades ago.
Yes.
And it was quite a bad collapse in the sense that a lot of people were left owing money. It was wound up. I mean, not an elite, it was wound up, and I think. How does it work? The bankruptcy, some creditors get paid and others don't.
There are priority creditors.
Yeah, or something like that. Anyway, so a lot of freelancers didn't get paid for work they'd done.
Oh.
And I think there were some other debts and stuff like that. I mean, George R.R. Martin at the time, because Guardians of Order were also doing a Game of Thrones RPG at the time.
Yeah.
And George R.R. Martin lost contact with them as well.
Oh, okay.
And obviously this was before the Game of Thrones TV, like a decade before the Game of Thrones TV series and stuff. But so he wasn't happy, and he sort of announced the company had collapsed on his blog because the company hadn't announced anything, and George R.R. Martin couldn't contact them. Yeah, and eventually he found out that Mark McKinnon was sort of selling real estate somewhere or something like that. I'm not sure the exact details.
How should you do?
But you can look up that blog post.
Okay.
But anyway, so there was this collapse of the company.
Yes.
A lot of people left owing money. Mark McKinnon goes off and does something else.
Okay.
A lot of people were pretty angry.
Yes.
So now a 4th edition of the game has been announced.
And
of course a lot of...
By the same Mark McKinnon.
By Mark McKinnon. A lot of these freelancers are sort of saying, hang on a second, I still haven't been paid.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'll let the listeners decide for their own, but essentially, there's a new edition of Big Eye Small Mouth and Silver Age Sentinels, which is another game that they produced at the time, being updated by Mark McKinnon to a 4th edition,
right?
With additional writing by Sean D. Francis.
Yes.
And also, there's some foundational writing contributions. I'm not sure what that means exactly. I think that means work used from back in the day, but I'm not sure. By David Pulver, Jeff McIntosh, and Jude McLaughlin.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be back in the day, because I think Jeff McIntosh is not with us anymore.
Oh.
So, it must be back in the day.
Right.
The work they did. So anyway...
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah, so fans of anime role-playing games, new edition of that coming. I guess people will just have to sort of look into it and decide for themselves whether they want to support that or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's that news anyway.
Yeah, there's Big Eyes, Small Mouth.
Yeah.
Yep, anything else?
Yeah, anything else? Spaceships and Star Worms.
Oh yes, that's a Kickstarter, isn't it?
Yes.
Taking D&D to space.
Yes, D&D 5th edition to space.
Yeah, it's completely different from Esper Genesis, which also takes D&D 5th edition.
I think there's quite a few things around that do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the latest one. But
I always have difficulty understanding how people do this, but they're always very enthusiastic. It's like horror, sci-fi. They're like, yes, this fancy dungeon crawl system is perfect for my needs.
That's always been the case with D&D, though.
I understand that.
Going back 40 years, they've always done that.
Absolutely. I 100% understand. It's not making it much of a better idea, but absolutely.
I think it's a great idea.
Well, yes, you do.
I think it's fun. I mean, what's Starfinder? That's D&D in space.
Yes.
And that seems fairly popular.
Yes.
People seem to like it.
Absolutely.
I haven't played it myself. I've got it. I haven't had the opportunity to play it. It's just very pretty.
One day.
Anyway, so Starship and Star Realms is D&D 5th edition in space.
Yes.
And you can download a beginner's kit for free.
Ooh. How exciting.
And then you can back the Kickstarter. $20 will get you the PDF. $35 will also get you an adventure and some other bits and pieces with it as well.
Yeah.
And then for the print version, you're looking at $60.
Oh, and even international shipping. How exciting.
It's interesting how this article we're looking at saying there's even international shipping available.
Yes. Oh, everyone knows only Americans play role-playing.
Yes, it's not unusual. So it's going to be pretty big. It's about 400 pages.
Yeah.
13 playable species, 5 new classes, 2 augmented classes, not sure what that is, various archetypes for bards, fighters, rogues, paladins and sorcerers. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot. It sounds very Starfinder-y.
Yep. And they've got like 100 new monsters or so. So, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to check it out. It looks quite interesting.
Don't see why not.
Yeah. So also in the news, okay, right then, what are the most popular D&D items? You know these D&D Beyond data dumps?
Yes.
Got another one, and this one is about items equipped.
Oh.
So I've not
Longsword.
Okay. So you've got 3 choices. You've got weapon, armour, and magical items to choose from.
Yes.
So weapon, you go to longsword. Armour.
Oh, I'm going to say scale mail.
Okay, and a magical item?
Ooh, healing potion.
Okay, so armour. We'll start with armour because that's the one at the top of the page.
Yes.
Armour. Number 1 is leather by a big shot. What did you say?
Scale mail.
Scale mail is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
8.5% of characters have scale mail.
Yeah.
42% of characters have leather armour.
Yes. And somehow some characters have ring mail. Interesting.
Not very many, 0.1%.
Yes, there's a reason for that, but we won't go into that.
Okay.
Oh, they are 5 times as many characters with spiked arms, which means there's 5 times as many characters who have the special dwarven, like, roid raging, troll slaying-esque. They cover their dwarven barbarians covering their bodies in spiky armour, throwing themselves at people, as there are characters wearing ringmail.
So why do you think ringmail is so unpopular?
Because it's rubbish. It is strictly worse than chainmail in nearly every way. It's AC 14 as opposed to AC 16, and you're just like, why are you bothering? Scale mail gives you like the same AC and extra edgy decks to it. So yeah, I like scale mail, but yeah, okay, leather is pretty good.
So 32% of characters have a shield.
Yes, that makes sense.
A third of characters have a shield, and nearly half of them are wearing leather armour.
Yeah, okay. Leather armour and shields. Interesting choice.
I think there might be a reason for that, because I think this takes into account first level characters, obviously.
Yeah.
So the cheaper armour is obviously going to get a boost on this chart, but also a lot of characters get leather armour for free.
Yeah, that's right.
And that might be why a lot of... I reckon if you took out first level characters from the data, I reckon you might see a totally different chart. Once people have gotten a level, gotten a bit of money, and not actually equip themselves with...
Well, studded level would become much more popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's armour. So, yeah, leather, then shield. So, next is weapons. So you
Longsword.
You said longswords. And the answer is...
Dagger! Oh, technically weapon.
In fact... Yes, so 20% of characters have a dagger equipped.
Yeah.
Now, again, I think that's partly due to the fact that daggers are very commonly handed out for free.
Yeah.
So if you ignored that...
Yeah. You got the trusty short sword.
So if you go back to the first one, if we ignored the leather
Yes.
and the shield there, if we ignore those two,
yeah,
chainmail is the most common
Chainmail is also given out for free. It's like your standard martial class accoutrement.
Well, then you get studded leather,
which you have to pay for. Scale mail is also part of things that get handed out.
So I think so this should be these charts should be they should weed out the free stuff, but still they don't.
But it's tricky because leather is studded leather. I'm surprised isn't more popular, but I guess a lot of this is level 1 characters.
Yeah. So anyway, weapons. So we got dagger. So your longsword is way down there at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, to be fair, it's tied for short bow. So yeah. 4.3% of characters.
Yeah. So dagger is number 1.
Yeah.
Short sword is number 2.
Over 20% of characters having those.
And light crossbow is number 3.
Yes, again, we're looking very much at starting equipment there. I mean, hand axes, whilst awesome, in no way, are, again, super popular.
And the whip is the least popular with 0.6%.
You do actually have to pay money for a whip. It's a finesse, reach weapon.
There is one thing they did point out with this. Dual-wielding a weapon will be counted twice in this data set.
Well, then you could probably half short swords, because double short swords is how you would do dual wielding at first level, because they're both light finesse weapons.
Yeah, but not everyone with a short sword is going to be dual wielding, though.
And that is true.
Probably not half. But still, there we go. That's that. Anyway, magical items is the third one.
Yes.
And you said
healing potions.
And you're almost correct. It's the greater potion of healing.
Greater potion of healing.
By a long shot.
Yeah.
Long shot.
Are healing potions even on there?
Potion superior? No. Potion of healing greater, potion of healing superior. I'm not seeing.
Huh.
No?
Right. So, unless they're not counting potions of healing as magic items.
Let's see why they wouldn't.
Well, because.
But they are magic items, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but where are they then?
But not there.
Yeah.
Off the bottom of the list. I mean, there's a lot more items in the game than those ones listed.
Yeah,
but once they get below,
immovable rods. If you're trying to seriously tell me that more games are having those handed out, this is not. I'm afraid the best stats I've ever seen.
Well, it says potion of healing greater, bag of holding, ring of protection, cloak of protection, dagger +1, shield +1, longsword +1, boots of elven kind. I'm not going to do the whole list, but that's the top few.
Yeah, I mean, ring of water walking being more commonly equipped than potions of healing, I find quite hard to believe.
I don't know what to do yet.
I mean, there you go. What can I say? Possibly it's entirely right, but we're looking at, was it 0.5% of magic items being immovable rods, and all the way at the other end, the greater potions of healing are 3.8%. So yeah.
So there's not actually a difference there, really, to be honest. So it looks, if you actually look at the graph, it looks like a steeper incline than it actually is if you look at the numbers.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, what else have we got?
Yes.
Oh, the Origins Awards nominees were announced.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the Origins Awards obviously take place at the Origins Game Fair every year.
Yes.
And they are presented by the Academy of Adventure Gaming Arts and Science.
Ooh.
And these are the nominees. So our good friend Rodney Thompson's Dust City Outlaws got a nomination.
How delightful!
Yeah. The Flash Gordon Collector's Box Set from Pinnacle got a nomination.
Savage World showing its face. Yeah.
Free League. Got a nomination with Forbidden Lands.
Oh, that one's gone under my radar. Do you know anything about that?
I know Free League stuff. I haven't seen that one specifically myself. No.
Yeah.
I can click on it because it's a hyperlink, and using the magic of the internet to record it up.
A hyperlink.
Yeah, so a link that is hyper. Forbidden Lands is a new take on classic fantasy role-playing, open-world survival role-playing game. You're not heroes sent on missions dictated by others. Instead, you are raiders and rogues bent on making your own mark in a cursed world.
Discover lost tombs, fight terrible monsters, wander wildlands if you live long enough, build your own stronghold.
Yeah.
Well, that does sound quite interesting. That's $25. Quite cheap.
Yeah. Monty Cook Games in there twice with Invisible Sun and the Numenera Destiny Discovery Core Rulebook Deluxe slipcover set.
Ooh, nice.
Then we've got Green Ronin in there.
Yeah.
Their Mutants and Masterminds Basic Heroes Handbook.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Modiphius twice.
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek Adventurers Starter Set.
Yeah.
And Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition.
Oh, yes, there it is. Yes.
It's interesting that Modiphius is credited with that one because, I mean, that is a White Wolf game.
They just say on the Driver RPG that it's White Wolf. So,
yeah, it is a White Wolf game. It's just been distributed by Modiphius, so I don't know how they work out the credit for that, but whatever. Anyway.
You got the Midgard World book, Cobalt Press. Midgard setting's been quite popular in the...
Cobalt Press is Midgard, yeah. Well, Cobalt Press is probably the lead third-party 5th edition, D&D 5th edition producer,
absolutely.
I would say. I'm trying to think of what other major ones there are. There's quite... If you discount DM's Guild, because there's an awful lot over there.
Oh, yeah.
I think, Cobalt Press is probably not just in the lead, but quite away in the lead.
Yes.
And finally, we've got from Evil Hat Productions, Uprising the Dystopian Universe got a nomination.
Ooh, nice. I don't know what that is, but...
Yeah.
There's some sort of fate-based game, do we think?
Well, it's Evil Hat, almost certainly. Where are we? It's Cyberpunk, Dystopian Futures.
Yes.
Citizens of Paris Nouveau are no more than indentured servants.
Oh.
It is a customised version of the Fate system, yes.
Yes. Okay, there you go. So you can play literally any character you can think of. Liberté, égalité, fraternité.
Okay.
As it says on the front. Haha.
And then there's role-playing... I won't read out the entire list, but there's that was the role-playing games nominations, and there's the role-playing supplements nominations.
Wizards of the Coast gets a look in there.
They get a look in with Mordecai's Tome of Foes.
Yeah.
God, I feel like that was further away. I guess it
was quite late last year.
Fair enough.
And then we've also seen Starfinder Pact Worlds. We were talking about Starfinder earlier. They've come out.
Yeah.
Got supplements for Traveller and Conan. And there's the Dark Eye, which is that German D&D game.
We will stick a link in the show notes if people want to check out the whole list, because there's also other categories. There's board games, card games, miniatures, all sorts of stuff. So it's overall it's quite a long list. So I just thought,
And that's like the Origins Game Fair, Saturday, June 15th, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Not even just something like that, something exactly like that. Yeah, was that just like a rough guess on your part?
I must say yes, but it's one of my other skills, knowing what words mean and...
your ability to see them.
Yes, be able to read words and then record them for a later date.
And not only that, to move your mouth and utter certain sounds utilising your vocal cords, and having those sounds recorded in an electronic medium to be redistributed via the internet.
Yes, we call this synergy. You should get on board sometime. Especially that last one.
Yeah. Well, so the next big bit of news, which would have got our sound engineer Daryl very excited. In fact, I know he did, because he was, for the 2 days before this was announced, he knew all about it, and he'd written up an article on the NRL which he couldn't post publicly because he was under embargo. And he was super excited about it.
Yes.
And so this article was sitting there. Well, I could see it, but it was not viewable by everyone.
Yeah.
Daryl was just like waiting to make it public.
Soon.
And then the day after it eventually went public, you came along into the little podcast group and said, "Hey, Daryl, did you know this?" He's like, yes, I did, Peter. Shadowrun 6th edition was announced. So 5th edition was, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah, something like not easy to follow.
See, I remember the year it was released. I was at Gen Con that year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I really feel like it was 2 years ago, but clearly it wasn't. It was 5 years ago.
Longer than that.
It really does feel closer than that to me. So it's part of the 30th anniversary of Shadowrun.
Yes.
And Catalyst Game Labs have announced that the new 6th edition is being released this summer. That's really soon. So I assume it's pretty much done by now. And I guess that means it's not going to be kickstarted then, like a lot of things are these days.
Yes.
There's no specific release dates announced.
Yeah.
But the Shadowrun 6th edition World Beginner Box is going to be available at Origins Game Fair. Which is in June the 15th, as you mentioned.
Yes.
And the core rulebook will be available at Gen Con. They sound like quite specific release dates to me, but
which day are Gen Con?
Yeah, I was aware. So core rulebook at Gen Con and beginner box at Origins Game Fair.
Ooh, exciting.
So there's various details that have come out.
Mm-hmm.
There's sort of interviews have started leaking out. There's an actual play of the Quick Start Adventure on the Neo-Anarchist podcast. And there's a quick overview of some of the changes and stuff, and I suppose we should just stick that in the show notes because there's quite a lot to go into.
Yeah. Now the question is, can they do something? They've had 6 editions have a crack at it. Can they do something to make it go from Shadowrun, love the setting, shame about the rule system?
Well, just different people like different things. I mean,
it's true.
Look at the cover there.
That's
Fantastic cover.
Yeah, there's some sort of probably a physical adept charging a
leaping through the air, nonetheless.
Yeah, indeed, leaping through the air in full anime style, with probably just sort of Katana getting ready to give a good chopping at some sort of
ED 209 or 309. What was it? ED 209?
ED 209. Except that was bipedal. That's actually looks like what, quadrupedal battle platform.
Oh, I thought that was one behind it. Oh, right.
I
see. Okay.
It's got extra space for more guns.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Not normally don't bring guns for sword fight, but they fancy their chances.
Well, they've got a website. It's shadowrun6thworld.com. So you can go there and have a look at it.
Yeah.
And here's some various. There's a timeline of various things that's going to be coming out over the next few weeks.
Ooh.
So May the 1st was the initial announcement.
Yes.
On May the 8th, when is May the 8th?
That's
in a couple of days.
6, 7, 8. That's Wednesday.
Wednesday. So the day this podcast goes out, in fact. There'll be a product overview.
Yeah.
A Shadowrun Origins preview on June the 12th, and various other interviews and bits and pieces in between those dates.
Yeah, we're localising it for what, German, French, Italian, and Russian as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Darryl has, and I strongly suggest that people go and look at this article that Darryl wrote because he's done quite a deep dive into this.
Oh yeah.
He's summarised an awful lot of the information that's come out, various streams and podcasts and announcements and stuff, compiled them into one article, and there's too much for us to sort of go into here.
Although, having said that, it's been very nice. Some of the main things are that they've really slashed down the core rulebook from 500 pages to about 300. But as Darryl says, don't worry, the gear section, and let's face it, kit porn is a very important part of any Shadowrun game. It still makes about 50 pages. They've removed limits, which is definitely something I remember from my experience of trying to play it to be a problem.
The core task resolution system is still the same as the last couple of editions.
Which makes a lot of sense, because you don't want to completely divorce yourself from your player base that way. They're looking to make combat faster and deadlier, but with more flexibility due to the new edge system. That being like your luck, which is generally what has helped Shadowrun get going. So it looks very nice.
Yeah, I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
I think because I haven't owned a Shadowrun book since.
Ooh.
Is it the second edition is the one I've got?
Wow.
I think it's second edition.
Yeah.
So I think I might take a peek at this one.
Yeah. It sounds intriguing.
Should we move on with the news?
Oh yes, let's.
All right, then let's do that. There's a Paizo update.
Yes.
Paizo Publishing. So first up to bat, we have some more Pathfinder pawns.
Ah, yes.
So
you can increase your pawn collection.
Yes.
I know you already have an extensive pawn collection, but now you have even more. All three ready for you.
This one is common enemies that you'll encounter early in your dungeon delving career.
Ooh.
So goblins, skeletons, zombies, ghouls, gnolls, kobolds, ogres, orcs, and zolgaths.
Fancy troglodytes, apparently.
Fancy troglodytes, yes. Yes. Not only that, we have 2 adventure paths continuing.
Not one, but 2.
2. The first one is the Dawn of Flame adventure path.
Nice.
That is continuing with Solar Strike.
Yes. Some sort of pirate lizard man dragon thing.
Yes.
With a axe with unnecessarily pointy bits on.
Yes.
I approve that axe. That's unnecessarily pointy.
I think they're necessarily pointy, to be honest.
Anyway, so that's Starfinder, and also for Pathfinder as well.
And for Pathfinder, we have the Tyrant's Grasp Adventure Path continuing with Born by the Sun's Grace.
Yes, as in lifted up by the Sun's Grace. Marvellous.
Yes.
What else has just been born that way?
What else do we have? We also have Druma, Prophet and Prophecy, which is a Pathfinder campaign setting. Pathfinder First Edition is coming to a close, but this is a Galarian campaign setting book, one of many.
Many.
I wonder if Galarian is as detailed these days as Forgotten Realms.
Oh,
probably not, because Forgotten Realms has had a lot more years, but it's got to be catching up there.
Absolutely. It's has many books written about it though.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I don't know what that guy's looking at, but he seems super excited to be seeing it.
Well, this is a wealthy and theocratic dwarven nation called Druma.
Oh.
So if you wanted, and have you ever, Peter, wanted to immerse yourself in dwarven politics?
Not until now.
Do you now want
Yes, now that the option is there, I'm now desperate to immerse myself in dwarven politics.
Would you like to explore primeval Fey ruins?
Yes, I would.
Would you now? And would you like to suffer the wrath of ancient grudges?
Maybe less.
Not so much.
To be fair, that's my day-to-day life, so that's escapism for me.
Well, for those that do wish to suffer the wrath of ancient grudges,
Yeah.
Pathfinder campaign setting Druma, Prophet and Prophecy is there for your ancient grudge needs.
Yes.
Right, moving on. In the news.
What
else do we have? Penny Arcade have told us more about the Acquisitions Incorporated D&D sourcebook.
Good grief.
And they've done this on Geek and Sundry.
It's Ron Bruce.
And there are various details, because this is obviously coming out June the 15th or so now. It's about just over a month away.
So same time as the Origins.
Or was it the 18th? Somewhere mid-June.
It says 18th on there.
Well, let's go with 18th then.
Yes.
If it says 18th, let's go with 18th.
Yes.
Good call, Peter. Well, there's an interview there with Jeremy Hawkins and Alyssa Grant from Penny Arcade.
Yes.
And they chatted with Greek and Sundry in text format about how the book got started, how you can use it in your campaign, and the various people that contributed to it. So those people sort of looking forward to this book, hop on over to Geek and Sundry via the link in the show notes and have a look at that interview. Yes. Well, what else do we have in the news? A preview. We have a preview, Peter.
A preview?
I like a good preview. And the preview is of the Scarred Lands Creature Collection for 5th edition. D&D 5th edition, that is. Not Shadowrun 5th edition.
Which is now superseded by 6th edition.
Not quite. Almost.
Yeah.
Will be in about a month. Yes. But anyway, we've talked about Scarred Lands before on the podcast because it was the first third-party campaign setting for D&D 3rd edition.
Yeah,
and the original Creature Collection beat the Monster Manual to print.
Which
was highly entertaining at the time. Scarred Lands is it's a kind of elderly setting now. It's been around for 20 years. And it's definitely got its fans. And it's Onyx Path working with Handiwork Games on this. So Onyx Path do a lot of the World or Chronicles of Darkness, one of those two things.
Yes, they sort of split from White Wolf and took a lot of the same staff on their own divergent path.
And Handiwork Games, that's basically John Hodgson, which was he used to work for Cubicle 7 before Cubicle 7 moved to Ireland.
I see, yes, okay.
Which happened last year. And John Hodgson, I think, lives in...
Alex didn't know about that one.
Joined in there. John Hodgson, I think, lives in Scotland or somewhere like that. Yes. So he's setting up Handiwork Games, and that company is the same one that's got that Ken Height Hellenistica Greek setting for 5e.
With you,
yeah. There's got a few projects in the fire. Projects in the fire. No, projects in the pan. No, pans in the fire. Pans in the projects in the fire pan. No. What's the phrase I'm looking for?
I've literally no idea at this point.
Hands in the fire. Hands in the pan.
He's got a few pots on the boil.
Let's go with that then. Let's go with pots on the boil. Anyway, he's got a few of those.
Yes.
But one of these is the Scarred Lands.
I would say that Handiwork Games has its fingers in many pies.
Yes.
That would be the one I'd use.
I've got to say, I don't want to eat the pies. If he's dipping his fingers in.
They didn't sound that nearly as nice. But
no. Yeah, it seems a bit rude, really. Or maybe it's just marking them so they're all his.
Yeah, I'd rather remark them with fingers than anything else.
I guess. Out with... Yes.
After the various public parts available, that's the one I want to choose.
I guess, yeah.
Anyway, moving on from this episode of Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG Talk American Pie edition, let's move on.
So the Scarred Lands Creature Collection. So there's some 5e previews. Again, link in the show notes. They're on Geek Native, these previews.
Yes.
And we've got previews of a Sage Camel.
Yes. Oh, you could be murdered by a Sage Camel or a fancy zombie.
Willow Tree Warrior.
Beaten to death by a tree, very something positive.
An Emperor Stag.
Ah, yes. When deers strike back. Oh, that's marvellous.
A Feral Demon.
As opposed to all those tame domestic demons, which one has around so far.
A Steel Beetle. Ooh, Steel Beetle, that looks awesome.
Yeah,
that's my favourite there, actually. Looking at those, that's my favourite one. Steel Beetle.
Yes.
I like it.
It looks like you should be able to drive it around somewhere. But it's hard to tell how big it actually is supposed to be. Is it like a steel beetle that's regular beetle size, or is it the size of a car as it comes ploughing towards you?
I can answer the question if you want the answer to the
yes,
question.
Please.
It's size large.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely more car sized. It's size of an actual Volkswagen Beetle.
Yes. Yeah, it is a Volkswagen Beetle. It's Herbie the love bug.
I must confess, Herbie has never looked more nightmarish.
Yeah.
To make it a proper Volkswagen,
right.
You could put that into your game and just have like carts that are led by steel beetles.
I've got some big news for you.
Big news.
You know Hell?
Okay, yes.
Right. It's frozen over.
Okay. Because
Paizo are making something for D&D 5th edition.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which really did surprise me.
Yeah, well to be fair, it's a bit like going back to your ex. It's like, you think, oh, never. And then you're like, But to make a role-playing game supplement looks a bit more like a Drunken Knight, to be fair. So
we'll see. Yeah. But basically, the Kingmaker Adventure Path, which is probably their most popular one, I'd like to say.
They made it into a computer game, so...
So its 10th anniversary is approaching.
Oh, that's nice.
And so they're doing a few things.
Yeah.
One is they're making a Pathfinder 2nd edition hardcover Kingmaker compilation, which makes sense.
Yeah.
To be honest, now they said it, I'm like, yeah, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be?
It seems very shocking.
Yeah. But also, they are making a hardcover Kingmaker bestiary for D&D 5th edition.
Ooh. Nice.
Which shocked me. I was like so surprised. But I guess what that means is, if you think about it, it means that a D&D 5th edition player can buy that bestiary and buy this hardcover Kingmaker compilation and can run Kingmaker. So it's actually a way of selling the Kingmaker compilation to 5th edition players.
Yes,
I think maybe I don't know what their strategy is. I can't speak for them, but
I know where I stand on Pathfinder 1st edition. It's not for me. Many people enjoy it. Awesome. Pathfinder 2nd edition sounds interesting, but I'm unlikely to play it unless somebody says, "Hey, Peter, you should play Pathfinder 2nd edition." I will run it for you because, I'm sort of maxed out on games I feel competent to run.
Okay. Well, this I don't think they're actually making it directly themselves because they're partnering with industry leaders in third-party 5e publishing.
It's like Gold Press.
So Gold Press then.
But they haven't said. It might be someone else. Yeah,
it might be me.
Yeah, sure.
I think I probably know about it. There is going to be some kind of campaign on Game on Tabletop, which is like Kickstarter, but more game focused.
Yeah.
And there will be other add-ons and unlocks. The details are being announced on Tuesday, May the 7th, at noon Pacific time, so that'll be early evening our time, over at kingmakercampaign.com.
Fantastic. So that's tomorrow.
So that's the day after we record this, but the day before the podcast actually goes out.
So if you're listening to this on the day it came out, that was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yes. But we haven't seen it because to us it's tomorrow.
Ever timely with the news.
Yes. Yeah. Tuesday's probably the worst day for news to come out, isn't it? From our point of view.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Which is, of course, when they...
It's in that gap. It's in that abyss, that void between...
No. Don't forget, they normally like to wait for 5 p.m. GMT after we finish recording, and then that's when a lot of stuff comes out.
No, there is that too.
Yeah.
So Paizo to make a D&D 5th edition product. That is quite shocking. Quite shocking.
Well, like I say, everyone wants to be on the big money train.
Yeah. Hey, Traveller.
Yes.
Traveller 5th edition.
Oh.
There's a big reprint of Traveller 5th edition,
Okay.
which is not the Mongoose version. It's
Not.
by Mark Miller, who is the original Traveller creator.
Oh, nice. It's got those.
It's basically two forks in Traveller now. Like Mongoose have got their own fork, and Mark Miller's got his fork.
Oh.
So the original one was 3 small black books.
Yes.
He's doing this with 3 big black books.
Bum, bum, bum.
So what we have is characters in combat,
Yes.
starships,
Nice.
and worlds and adventures. Each about 300 pages in a slipcase.
Okay.
So 900 pages of rules.
Yeah.
So Traveller obviously launched back in 1977,
Yes.
and it's the original space RPG. At times, especially back then, it has been very, very, very popular. And it's waxed and waned over the years, but it's always been the kind of like the quintessential space RPG, I guess.
Yeah,
It's the D&D of RPG, sci-fi RPGs.
Yeah.
I'd say.
It is to sci-fi RPGs what D&D is to fantasy.
Yes, good. That's a good way to put it. Well done, Peter.
You're welcome.
Proud of you.
What? I'm getting professional wordsmith. No, I'm being mean.
Well, that's not my job.
Oh, really? Oh, no. No thanks. Oh, what?
I make money from writing, you do not. So
I don't write, so there you go.
Anyway, so
One day I'll make money.
so there's
But
been
first I have to write some.
various editions.
Yes.
There's been Traveller, there's been Mega Traveller, there's been a GURPS version, there's been a D20 version, there's
played
been
that.
Mongoose's version.
Yes.
Back in 1980,
Yes.
Ares magazine did a review of Traveller.
Yes.
Now this review is pretty dated.
Yes.
But the review said, this game starts off
Yes.
where Dungeons and Dragons are left off.
Right.
It's a bit harsh, this review.
Yeah.
It says, if there is any justice, it will end up being more popular than that venerable relic.
This was in 1980.
This is in 1980.
How old was D&D at that point? Like 3-4 years?
14 years.
14
Oh, no,
years.
1980, no, fine,
Yeah.
74, so 6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
So people have been hating Dungeons and Dragons for over 40 years. That's what we can make out.
It says, for one thing, Traveller rules are fairly consistent, more than is usual for such games.
Yeah.
For another, unlike the first generation of role-playing games, this one requires no referee or game master. Somewhat complex, variable playing terms. So it's a bit harsh on D&D at the time, and Traveller does have a GM, so...
Yes.
But, yeah. But anyway, that's what they said back at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm sure Traveller fans are rightly excited, as they should be.
Yeah.
well,
There is the Unity RPG, and I must confess I haven't looked at this yet, so I can't really talk about it, but I can certainly mention that it exists. There's a free 43-page preview of it.
Nice.
Unity RPG is a grim fantasy world
Yes.
mixed with elements of arcane technology.
Okay.
And if that sounds like your bag, stick a link in the show notes. There's a 43-page preview which has like an introduction to the basic rules, write-ups on the playable races, combat examples, stuff like that.
Class-based. They do have a Dreadnought class. I do quite like that name. Oh, it's got some races.
You know, human, Valor, Furian, or a Furian, I think that is. I think he's more furious than furry.
He looks pretty furry to me. He's both angry and furry. It's a strong combination.
And Afflicted is the fourth race.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there's also a new monk class coming. So those familiar with Unity will know what that means, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
I always got an adventure as well.
Yeah.
Exciting time.
Yeah.
And this is from Modiphius?
Everything in the world ever is from Modiphius, don't you know?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. In their quest to be the publisher of all the things.
Yes, every single game that ever existed, ever has existed, and ever will exist. I bet one day we'll secretly find that Modiphius is secretly behind D&D, and we just didn't know.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, 20 of the best D&D memes on Reddit. That sounds like perfect podcast material.
Yes, it's probably not very good podcast material, but let's have a look, because it's going to be images.
Yeah.
I mean, it exists.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We should move on.
I think we're probably done for the news.
We're done for the news.
Done for the news.
As you walk along the cliff path, you hear a cry from up ahead. You hear the sound of distress.
A cry? What, a human cry?
Humanoid, certainly. It sounds pretty urgent.
Okay, I'll quicken my pace. What do I see?
Round in the corner, you see the signs of carnage. 2 corpses lie on the ground, ripped asunder by some terrible beast. Blood everywhere. You can hear cries coming from the cliff edge itself.
Gruesome. Well, okay, I guess I'll search the bodies for treasure.
What? Okay, you find 20 gold. The cries become more urgent and plaintive.
Well, nothing else? Just 20 gold? What weapons do they have?
The cries really are becoming quite desperate.
Yeah, okay, I'll get to it. First, weapons.
They both have short swords and daggers. One is wearing a ringmail and the other leather armour.
What sort of quality? Are they magical?
The plaintive pleas for help are getting weaker. It sounds like you might not have much time.
Oh, and are they wearing any rings, amulets, braces or anything?
Seriously? Fine. Yes. One of the short swords is magical, and the other corpse has a tiara.
A tiara? Really? Okay, what sort of a tiara?
It's just a tiara, got jewels. Look, are you going to do anything about the guy hanging off the cliff?
Fine, all right. Yeah, I look over the cliff.
At last. You see a wounded man hanging on for dear life. The same monster which dismembered the corpses above has clearly injured him, and his blood drips down into the chasm below. Weakening, he looks at you and whispers, "Help me."
Okay, I'm going to lean over and
Yes.
I'm going to say, "Hello, sir. Say, do you know anything about this tiara? Is it valuable?"
The man stares at you in disbelief. He loses grip with one hand and makes a gurgling sound.
And that short sword, it's magical, isn't it? Do you know what sort of enchantments it has?
"Help me!"
Blimey, impatience, sod. Okay, what's it worth?
What do you mean, what's it worth? You're supposed to be a hero, just help the man.
Well, I'm an adventurer. I work for gold. Look, I'll save you for 50 gold.
Ugh. The man loses grip and falls screaming into the chasm. His death is on your hands.
Damn it. I wanted to check his pockets. So, hey, Peter,
Yes, Russ.
what do you want to do now?
Oh, I think we should play our favourite game in all the world ever.
Our favourite game in all the world?
Absolutely.
Oh, do I have to get my costume on again?
Yes. And I want to be a cleric.
Well, let's play our second favourite game in all the world, which is the game where
Yes.
I read out the name of a Kickstarter, and you have to guess what it is from just the name. All right then, number 1. Are
Yes.
you ready?
Kickstarter the first.
Are you ready? This one is by Steve D.
Yes.
It's not really much of a clue.
No.
And the game is called,
Yes.
or the thing is called, Relics, something, which tells you what Relics is.
Fair enough. Relics is saying you... A relic for me would be like sort of exciting artifacts, magical technology, and things which are found. I'm hoping it's some sort of expansion for, say, Numenera, where you can find like all sorts of like weird and wonderful stuff. It's got like, I don't know, teleportation things like metallic sunflowers that will turn you to stone, all sorts of interesting jazz like that.
I'd like to say that's a good guess,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I'd be lying.
Oh.
I'll say it anyway if you like.
Okay.
It's a good guess, Peter.
Marvellous.
Got my
Marvellous.
fingers crossed. So Relics is a game of angels. You, it says, are an angel. Peter, you are an angel.
It's true, I am.
You are thousands of years old.
I say it's a bit personal.
You fell to Earth
Well, I try to avoid that, but it does happen.
because
Yes.
you believed
Mhm.
that falling to Earth was the best way to fight evil and help humanity.
No, making other people fall to earth is generally the best way to fight people.
But now you find yourself lost.
Oh.
Peter, you find yourself lost
Is Google Maps not working?
without God's guidance.
Well,
Well, it begins with G, Google,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
and your angelic strength.
Right. I was going to get that from Relics, eh?
Hmm.
Well, that's certainly an idea.
Yeah.
Okay. What system does it use?
It is the Fugue system.
I see.
I'm not familiar with the Fugue system. It's a core rulebook,
Ooh.
250 pages.
Wow.
It's by Steve D, who worked on Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd and 3rd editions, Shadow of the Demon Lord, Doctor Who Adventures in Time and Space,
Okay.
Vampire the Requiem, and more. And this fugue system was first developed by James Wallace in the critically acclaimed Las Vegas, where players use flashbacks to create the backstory of their characters, discovering the truth about themselves only as they play through the game, therefore becoming unreliable narrators of their own past.
So it'll be quite a storytelling-heavy system.
I'm guessing so.
And probably from what the style of games that I am familiar with from that list you gave me, probably quite a different...
Well, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is not storytelling.
But yes, he's saying Third Ed, which was the one...
Second and third.
Second and third, yeah. But Third Ed is probably a bit more relevant, especially given modern things. But yeah, I've been playing Warhammer Fourth Ed, and that's quite good. Neither here nor there.
Okay.
Next one.
Go on with it. That's brave of you.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one.
Yeah.
By Unicorn Motorcycle Games. Great name for a company.
It looks very professional on the tax receipts and on the CV.
Is called One Child's Heart.
So obviously my mind shoots instantly to Snow White, and this is a game all about doing fairy tales, as in the Brewers Grimm style things, and you've got One Child's Heart, which is the stakes are that it's like sort of like taking the Snow White story and generalising it, so that there's like an inciting incident where there's a problem, and then the players come in where they're like, okay, well, we've got a situation, we've got an innocent that we need to save, and we need to produce some proof that we've done it, otherwise it's all going wrong.
No.
Okay.
It's not that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. It's a tabletop role-playing game, obviously. It invites players to take the role of, but now get this, child welfare professionals participating in a new mental health care memory exploration experiment. The Central Limbic Engagement Recovery System brings characters into the memories of these key moments to give support and guidance to a child who needs both. It's intended to be an empathy-building experience with a message of hope and human connection.
I see. Right. I'll be honest.
You don't know what to say, do you?
Well, it sounds a bit like work to me, but yeah. I'm sure if people want to play around with that, they can. It's not something I think I would want to do for fun, being a bit too based in the real world. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, well, there's just one more, and then we'll be done. And that is... Fight, 2nd edition. ! After the word fight. Not after the word second, and not after the word edition, just after the word fight.
So it's not fight, 2nd edition.
Fight, second.
Fight.
Edition.
2nd edition.
Yeah.
Okay. A game of martial artists and other pugilists having some sort of like big old smackdown. It's its own role-playing game system, and it will basically rock along to the plot of Double Dragon and similar 1980s beat 'em ups.
That's exactly what it is. Fight 2nd edition is a revision and enhancement of the best tabletop emulation of, I guess only tabletop emulation of, the characters, combat and stories found in traditional 2D or 3D fighting games.
I'm sure there are some other stuff.
There may well be. If there are, I don't know of them, but I'm sure there are. Well, there you go. You got that one spot on. So you got one spot on and two completely wrong.
Doing well then.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah. So basically, your score for this week is
1.
3 out of 5.
Okay.
I have no idea how I came up with that score. So, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, coming out
soon. In the May?
Contains a number of old adventures updated for 5th edition, all nautical themed, or at least having a nautical element to them.
And cleverly woven into one adventure pathway.
We think.
Well, it's what it promises in the book. Says it will take you from 1 to 12, which is a lot a long way to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it will be structured, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But so like you say, we've done the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh,
Yes.
Danger at Dunwater,
Yes.
and Europe's The Final Countdown as the first trilogy. Yeah. Then we did 2 last week, which were Isle of the Abbey and
There was one on a ship with a angry
Salvage Operation.
Yes.
And Isle of the Abbey.
Yes.
And that leaves 2 adventures, and those are Tammeraut's Fate.
Yes.
Or Tammeraut's Fate. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
And The Styes.
Yes.
Both of which are larger than the ones we did last week.
Definitely more substantial.
And also, I think both of which are better than the ones we did last week.
Is there?
Especially The Styes, I think that looks quite awesome.
Well, it seems a little unfair to say like they're better per se. They're longer and more detailed. But
And more
it's
interesting.
They are more complete adventures as we know them.
So which of these would you like to do, Peter? Would you like to do Tammeraut's Fate, or would you like to do The Styes?
I would like to do Tammeraut's Fate.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Have you read anything of it yet?
I've had a leaf through so far, so you know, as is traditional, I'm super well prepared for this podcast.
Okay. I'm fairly well up on it, so
Yeah.
I can sort of summarise the plot, I guess.
So first things first, it sort of seems to be set in Greyhawk, and relevantly, when about was this adventure published?
That will have been a 3rd edition adventure.
Yes.
So that would be the early 2000s, I think.
So contemporary with Salvage Operation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So Tammeraut's Fate. Tammeraut is a ship.
Yes.
Spoilers, by the way. There's going to be lots of spoilers, just thought I'd mention.
Spoilers for a 20-year-old adventure.
Already given one away.
Yes.
So
many spoilers.
Yes, we totally spoil these adventures. So
Yes.
if you don't want to know what happens in them, just stop listening now, because we'll do these and then that'll be the end of the podcast.
And of course, we shall be indulging in rampant speculation as to how Ghosts of Saltmarsh will tie all these together into that single campaign. Yeah.
Okay. So Tammeraut's Fate.
Yes.
This is set on an island.
An island, you
An
said?
island. So what happened was there was this warship,
Yeah.
Tammeraut, and it was sent back during a war some decades ago. It was sent to scout out and possibly attack this island.
Right.
Something happened, and it got wrecked off the shore of the island.
Right.
And the people who sent it out, I mean, I would say who it was, but one thing I did struggle with this is if you're not a Forgotten Realms scholar, what you do is for these, you get these big, long adventure background things, and every other word is a made-up fantasy word.
Yes.
So you just look at this first paragraph. We're talking Fanes, Ayers the Evil, Neodiv, Azure Sea, Overking, Ivid the Undying, Great Kingdom, Kingdom of Nirond, Aeode, Scarlet Brotherhood, Amedio Jungle, and Hep Monoland, all mentioned just in the first 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah.
And we've got an entire solid, dense page of this stuff.
And it's very small text as well.
Yeah.
What size font is that? That's like, what, 6, 4?
Don't know, they're small.
You're reading in tiny vision.
Yeah. So it's the Scarlet Brotherhood of the bad guys.
Yes.
Or that's saving the ship. But there's lots and lots of factions and people's names and place names and stuff in the background.
But if you're super into Forgotten Realms, this will be like meat.
But what you need to know is warship sent to this island.
Yes.
To scout it out. Sinks. Scarlet Brotherhood on board.
Yes.
They all die because the ship sinks. The Scarlet Brotherhood back home at Scarlet Brotherhood HQ.
Yes.
Which is presumably sort of,
Red themed.
Yeah. Don't hear from the ship. Just assume that
Everything's hunky-dory.
Just assume that the island is too fortified to attack, and then the sort of war moves on, and it just gets left.
Yeah.
So there's the PCs are wandering along this cliff path, and they discover a body which is being eaten by 3 harpies.
Yes.
And they can sort of fight or chase off the harpies.
Okay.
And take the body back to a nearby town.
Yes.
You identify the body as someone who comes from, is it like an abbey type thing on the island nearby. It's about 5 miles out the shore. and they know who he is, and they hire the adventurers to go and check out what's going on at the island.
Yes.
So you go check out what's going on the island, and what's happened is this ship sunk, where all the bad guys on it are now undead, watery, drowned creatures, drowned zombies, wet zombies.
Oh, wet zombies.
They've got a name.
They're the worst kind.
They're wet zombies.
Drowned ones, as they're called.
Yes, drowned ones. And so these wet zombies attack the abbey, kill everybody.
Yes.
But there's like 3 survivors that manage to hide away. So they kill everybody, and then as the dawn comes, they head back underwater, march back underwater back to the ship, which is stuck down there.
Okay.
Now the ship is on the edge of a portal to, like, I don't know, hell of the abyss or somewhere. I can't remember where. Somewhere,
a nasty place.
Somewhere lovely, somewhere like that. Yeah,
not a holiday destination.
Yeah, sprinkles or something.
Yeah. Hey. Making me hungry now.
And the captain of the ship, who was one of these Scarlet Brotherhood sorcerer types, he didn't turn into a wet zombie. He turned into a ghost. What? He actually died and turned into a ghost.
Awkward.
Yes, and he's slightly annoyed.
Yes, I can imagine.
Anyway, so the PCs end up getting to the Abbey. And they have a search around and they fight some creatures and bits and pieces and explore the place. There's various bits and pieces that happen there. Eventually they discover the 3 survivors that are hidden away in a bolt hole. The 3 survivors fill them in on what's going on and tell them that the creatures are going to come back at night. There's no ferry back until the next day.
Awkward.
So the PCs have to survive the night. And then it's basically a siege situation where the wet zombies...
A night of the squidgy soaking dead.
Yeah. Attack the abbey.
Yes.
And the PCs have to defend it using traps and stabbing.
As is traditional. Traps, stabbing. Okay, so it sounds like quite good. That sounds like quite an interesting scenario.
And then finally,
once they've turn for fifth dead, get yourself an hour's rest here and there. And
so once they've finished defending, assuming they survive the night, they end up discovering a stash of underwater breathing stuff, just like they did in Danger at Dunwater. No, The Final Enemy.
Yes. Handy dandy.
Yeah, and they end up finding a stash of that, which allows them to go down, find the ship, and end up having a fight with the old ghost. And once the ghost is laid to rest, the problem is solved.
Yes. It seems so obvious now that you put it that way.
Yes, and that is the plot in a nutshell.
It seems like there's a certain theme of ghosts and water going on.
Well, there would be water because it's from a nautical source book.
Right, makes sense.
Undead. Yeah, I suppose.
It was quite popular in the Isle of the Abbey one, so it's sort of like... in fact, the Isle of the Abbey and Tammeraut's Fate sort of seem very, very similar.
They've got things in common, I suppose, yeah.
But it seems like a much more detailed...
I think this is a much better adventure, I personally think.
Well, it's much longer.
This one's by Greg A. Vaughan. And, well, we can have a look. That's basically the backstory here. 2 pages of backstory, solid, dense text. I struggle through that. I always struggle through dense backstory full of made-up fantasy words. I really have trouble reading it.
No, I completely agree.
Then we got a bunch of potential adventure hooks to get people into it. So this adventure is for characters of... What level is it for characters?
6 to 10.
There we go. Level 6 to 10. So there we got the road to Ascan, which is the town, and you can see a nice picture with 3 harpies and the corpse there.
It's very Jason and the Argonaut through.
Firewatch Island is the island itself.
Yeah.
Then we got a sort of map of the island.
Yes.
You notice how the production value of this is way, way better than the production value of those early ones we looked at. But obviously time passes and that happens.
Yeah, but this is like 20, 25 years later.
Yeah.
So.
This is it's not an abbey, it's a heritage.
A hermitage.
Hermitage.
Yes.
Hermitage. What did I say? Heritage.
I don't know.
Hermitage, which is like an abbey, but it's a hermitage.
But it seems like it's pretty well populated. Like, I thought the whole point of a hermit was that you were just on your own being antisocial.
I guess. But in this case, perhaps not.
Well,
they're being antisocial together.
Yes.
Yes, group antisociability.
Like role-playing games.
Yeah.
No.
So
I do this episode.
there's a couple of sea hags that can fill you in on some of the information if you fight them but don't kill them.
Oh, they seem trustworthy.
They seem lovely, yes. And then we've got various descriptions of areas with the main entry, Midden, Archer's Post, Scullery. You know, we've got a whole hermitage described and mapped.
Yeah.
Distillery, library, dining hall, all this stuff.
It sounds very fancy for a hermitage, I'll be honest.
Oh, it's quite nice.
I see you've got hermit cells.
Yes.
So there's like some actual hermits and there's support services.
Well, these are full of rats. The hermit cells are full of rats. Lovely rats.
Well, hermits have to eat something.
I guess so, yeah.
I guess they're going for an anchorite version of hermits.
Kitchen, larder, a grotto. That's where Santa is.
Yes.
Got Santa in a grotto.
Yeah.
Storage, armory, a battlement. Scriptorium.
Oh, yes, for copying books.
A defensive outlook, a prior's quarter, guard tower, an abandoned quarter, which is where what's his name? Arcais, Archis, the garrison's wizard.
Oh, yeah.
Who is now dead.
Yeah.
But that's where you find his stash, because he's got a hobby of, conveniently, he's got a hobby of underwater sort of exploration and archaeology and stuff.
Well, it sort of makes sense. If you're a wizard on an island, you'd go there because you really like, I don't know, magical scuba diving.
So you get the stash, which has a ring of freedom of movement and sovereign glue and salves of slipperiness, potions of water breathing, and immovable rod. There we go. The 19th most popular D&D item. Whatever it was.
Healing potion insight. How foolish am I?
A folding boat and a bag of holding, which is the second most popular.
Yeah.
So there you go. And not a healing potion insight, no. Not one. There we go. So you find all that stuff. Roof, a belfry.
Yep, there's some nice...
with a periton.
Who
attacks you on the belfry. A periton.
Yes, periton, yeah.
A giant eagle and the head of a demonic purple stag.
Yes.
Which frankly sounds ridiculous, but still.
I had one eat my elf million.
You know, some fantasy monsters, I swear, are just some kids playing with Lego and just go, oh, right, let's just put a purple stag on it. Yeah.
I think that's very advanced.
Yeah.
I just like to say owlbear.
Yeah, owlbear, bear owl, as the case may be. As it's correctly known, bear owl.
The bear owl.
The bear owl. Or the bowl.
I thought it was
I like to call it the bowl for short.
I thought they were basically shaved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you shave an owl, you get a bear owl.
Oh, God.
It's got some nice handouts in here as well, moving back to the thing.
Yeah.
Whilst Russ recovers from that dreadful pun.
Yeah. Then we've got the bolt hole where the survivors are. There's a picture of the 3 survivors there who don't look very well.
If I saw that, I'd be like, oh, damn, son, they're zombies. Kill them now.
There's Janor Stormswake.
Yeah.
That's such a cool surname, damn. I wish my surname was Stormswake. I want you to call me Russ Stormswake from now on.
Yeah.
We got Barrett Gloffrin. That's not such a good last name.
No.
And we've got Murley Tobe.
Yes.
So those 3 are hiding away. They survived the night.
Yes.
And you can chat with them, and they'll probably help defend the place. And then you get Death from the Briny Deep. Encounter level 10 encounter. Big sidebar here on building traps.
Yes.
So it suggests some traps you could make.
That's a good idea. You should totally build those.
Yeah.
Well, zombies, even soggy ones,
it's a bit A-team, isn't it, really? So it's basically wet A-team.
Probably need some sort of survival rules to update that to 5th edition.
Yeah.
Bonuses for dwarfs if you've got them in the party.
Yes.
You could have a team full of goblins.
You could.
Or kobolds.
Yeah. They're good at traps.
Put it for the ludicrous death traps.
All right, so once you've done that,
yes,
you end up heading down to the beach.
Yes.
And the seagull comes and talks to you because he's a familiar of the wizards that you met. Well, you didn't meet because he was dead, but you stole his stuff.
Yoink.
Yeah. So this seagull comes along and he's quite chatty. And he tells you all the backstory stuff from earlier in the adventure.
And you're like, well, that would have been super useful before we got onto the damn island.
And then you use all that stuff, and you go underwater, and then you have a little poke around the ship.
Yes.
And you go down into there, and you search around the ship, and you fight some wet zombies.
Yeah.
And then finally you fight the guy in charge who's a ghost.
Yep, this is a bad place to have any slashing or bludgeoning weapons because obviously you'll be fighting at disadvantage.
He's called Sergal. God, this text is really useful. And the lighting in here is not great. Tammeraut. Sergal Tammeraut, and he's a Ghost Fighter 3, Sorcerer 3, challenge rating 10.
Oh, so he's got the same name as the ship?
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, maybe Tammeraut is the captain rather than the ship then. I don't know. And then we go, and then...
Well, it appears to be humanoid, so I presume it's on the ship.
It is a bit of a fight with you.
But it's also the record of Tammeraut, so...
Yes. Yeah. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got a big appendix, which is 2.5 pages long, describing what drowned wands, which I like to call wet zombies, are, and how to make them, how to create them, and how to use a drowned one template on another creature.
But unfortunately, there's a whole section about scaling the adventure, depending upon what level PCs you have.
I've noticed they all have that, all the Dungeons and Adventures do, which is quite useful.
Yeah, absolutely. You want that. You don't want to have your enemies... You don't want to have people show up, so yeah...
Yeah, well, that's that. That's Tammeraut's fate.
So I think if we're looking at this from a conversion to 5th edition, how we would do it...
I don't think that needs a lot done to it, to be honest. I mean, a few skill check changes, update the monsters, which, to be honest, that's already done. You just... just assuming the monsters are roughly equal power, and you're done, really.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, the first 3... What would you say would be the first adventure for our budding adventuring party to go on?
Which one do you reckon is going to be the lowest level?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to guess it's going to be Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. And you'd probably do one?
And I think that's got quite a good little hook as well, the Haunted House and stuff.
The Sinister Secrets of Saltmarsh is
the old
quite
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Yeah. Where are you? Plot.
Yes, that seems perfect for your...
This one's the 18.
Yeah.
Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh or Scooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
U3 was the final countdown.
Yes.
By Europe.
And then you got Abbey Road, famously from the Beatles.
Yeah. So what do you think of that adventure then? Do you think it sounds fun? Would you like to play that one?
I think that'd be a really interesting one. I think you're going to need to have I think it could be fun because you could actually challenge a higher level party with it.
I think you need the right DM and you need the right players to make the most of the trap element of it.
Oh, yeah.
That would be fun. If you're actually setting up the traps and you're actually planning it, especially if you have a map, a nice big map, and you're actually planning where the traps are and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of tactical crunch you could get in on that.
Yeah, it could be good fun. I'd enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you reckon they'll break up the Saltmarsh trilogy and put some of these in between?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they might just make them just a series of adventures ranging between levels 1 and 12, but not an adventure path. So you can just use it whenever you want.
But don't have a look at the thing. That's what they promised.
Okay, play through each... Oh, no, you are correct. Play through each story in a seafaring campaign, leading characters from 1 through level 12, or pull out sections to place in ongoing campaigns in any setting.
Yeah. There's a certain modularity to it.
So, no, that definitely does say you play them in order. Yeah, no, okay. So I'm going to guess Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. Sinister.
If you've got Sinister Secrets problems, I feel bad for you, sir.
I think that's going to be the first one, and I think the Styes is going to be the last one.
Yes, I think.
Given that has a Kraken in it.
And also that was sort of I mean, do you think they'll do it in?
The order they presented them on there is the order that we've done them on the podcast.
Yes. But does this make sense? So,
Sinister Secret, Danger at Dunwater, Final Enemy.
Yes.
Salvage Operation,
which is on a ship. Then then you've got a bunch.
I think the only one that stands out then is Isle of the Abbey, which I think they'd have to change the level of then.
Yeah, because that one. Because if you're going to go to level 12, then probably the Styes is getting on for 10, 12.
But I think there's an awful lot of stuff that's very similar here. I mean, we've got Salvage Operation, which involves going in a ship to get something. And then you've got Tammeraut's Fate a couple of adventures after that, which, again, involves going down into a sunken ship and getting something. Then you've got Isle of the Abbey, which means going to a
pile of undead.
A pile of undead on an island in an abbey. And then Tammeraut's Fate, which is the same thing.
Yes.
So Salvage Operation and Isle of the Abbey, you combine the two together, you kind of get Tammeraut's Fate almost.
Yeah, very much, actually. Yeah, that's true. So you've got...
But then again, Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, the second half of that, involves going onto a ship and...
That's true, in the Commando style raid.
Yeah.
Which is quite tricky for level 1 or 2 characters.
I think they'll be higher... No, they will be, won't they?
You've got to start off at level 1 or 2. I mean, I would be tempted to maybe throw in Isle of the Abbey has like a first level adventure.
Maybe.
Because then that gives it a bit of thing, and they've got like, they're derping around and they're finding out.
Yeah. I think for me, I think Isle of the Abbey is the least interesting of those.
Which is why it makes it quite a strong first level adventure, because you're like trying to learn the basic mechanics, and that would probably it levels people up, gives them that boost from 1 to 2 to 3.
I think my two favourites, the Sinister Secret, and the Styes. I think it's kind of bookended there with my two favourites.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
But we'll talk about the Styes next week.
We will talk about the Styes next week.
Yeah, and that is definitely, in my opinion, the standout adventure of that collection.
By a long way. Yeah. Okay. So, and with that, Bombshell, because we're waiting for the game to be out, the actual book to be out 21st of May?
Which is in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll just about get this done in time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good timing on our part. God, almost like we planned it.
We totally didn't.
We didn't. But we'll just pretend we did.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll need to actually get a copy in.
Yeah, well, depending when and how it becomes available.
Nah.
Well, I think we're probably done for the day.
I think we are.
I just want to talk a little bit about the Patreon again.
We should talk about the Patreon.
Because we put out last week's Patreon-only episode.
Yes.
We put out on the main feed last week.
Yes.
And we did that because we wanted people who don't support us on the Patreon, of which there are many, to see what the people who do support us on the Patreon, of which there are few, are getting.
Yes.
So I'll put that out, and you can see the sort of extra content those people get. And I just really want to say that it's really, 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 really appreciated if you do support our Patreon. Now, we've got 23 amazing patrons on our Patreon, one of whom, Shane Stacks, is going to be coming on our podcast very soon, and we may invite some others on afterwards.
Absolutely.
But
patrons have privileges.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I've really enjoyed getting to know our patrons as well, and chatting to them and things like that.
They've been a lot less patronising than they could be.
Yeah, exactly. Our Patreon is over at patreon.com/Morrus.
That's MORRUS.
And even if you can only, donate $1 a month,
and that means we can start doing things like doing prizes. We can do outreach games. We can do all sorts of stuff. Tell us what you'd like to see.
Yeah.
Bring us a bit of cash and we'll let you know.
Yes, yeah. And we'd be super, super, super grateful. And we will do stuff. If we got some decent money coming in, we will start doing stuff like running games for our patrons and doing extra content, special episodes and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, we should probably wind up.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
We will be back next week with The Styes, the final adventure from Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Bum, bum, bum.
The final and, in my opinion, best adventure.
Yes.
Especially if you like krakens and aboleths and dirty, dingy port towns.
Yar, squiddy.
Yeah, and if you like squids, and you like nightmarish things and serial killers.
Yay!
Yeah, all the best stuff. So I guess we will see you next week. Or hear you next week. No, you'll hear us next week. We won't hear you.
Yes.
That would be weird.
Unless you decide to record something and send it in which case we will almost certainly use it.
It depends what it is.
it does depend what it is. Then we would be delighted to hear from you.
Anyway, that's it for this week. Until next week, and goodbye.
Right.
Goodbye.
Have you heard of the week, Morris?
Got a new car.
Did you?
Or did I mention that last week? I did mention it last week, but Darryl edited it all out of the podcast, so I'm mentioning it again to make sure it gets into the main podcast, because it is the most important bit of news.